Hey guys, welcome to Beklædt's YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to show you 3 great ways you can use your leftover scrap fabric from previous projects. If you're anything like me, you hate to waste good fabric. Even the smallest pieces could have potential value. What I do when I sew is I always have a plastic bag like this next to my sewing machine, and then I basically collect all the scraps from the project that I think are too good to waste. Number 1. We're going to make a patchwork quilt. So people in old days used to do this all the time using their leftover scrap fabrics, and I think it's a really great way to minimize waste. So what you want to do is you want to look for bigger pieces among your scraps that can be sewn together. So I'm just gonna pour these babies out here and see what I find. Alright, so I found a piece like this, which has a pretty weird shape. But what you can do is you can cut it into smaller geometric shapes and sew them together. It's really good to use one of these quilting rulers to cut out your materials, and then you also want a rotary cutter. Okay, so here I have a cutout, and what you want to do is you basically want to sew a lot of these together to create a nice pattern. Alright, so here you can see how I've joined all the pieces I just cut out before. I didn't follow any strict rules or anything, I just joined them together as I felt like it. So you can already see now that it's creating this sort of pattern, and I think it looks pretty good. So I just want to say that you should remember to iron the back side as well, split open all the seams, press them open with your iron, to get a really nice finish. So I'll make this a lot bigger. I'll put batting in the middle and then another piece of fabric on the back as a back side, and then I have a really nice blanket. Okay, number 2 is making bias tape. A lot of my sewing patterns are finished with bias tape, and I think it's a really great way, to finish off a seam or to add extra detail to your garment. You can also use bias tape for inseam finishes or, kids projects or whatever. So I have already a lot of these cuttings from a previous project that are already cut on the bias, and they are about 4 centimeters wide. And what you want to do is you want to cut a lot of these pieces, and you want to join them together on the bias. So if we are to join these two, what you want to do is you want to flip this one over so it lays perpendicular to the first one. And then I'm just gonna add some pins. And then you wanna sew at a diagonal angle down to the bottom here. I just finished sewing all these pieces of bias banding together to create a long ribbon. As you can see, I've pressed open the seams, the diagonal seams, and then afterwards I pressed the two long edges of the bias binding towards the middle to create this binding that we know from the shops. I just felt like playing around with different fabrics and just mixing them together, so this is a really unique bias binding, and I think it will be really great to finish off kids' projects and so. Right, number 3. This is probably the one that I'm the most excited about. You can use all the small bits and pieces, odd shapes and sizes of scraps to stuff out a stuffed animal like this, or cushions, or whatever that needs filling. So I made this really cute fox that's going to be a teddy bear for a baby, and I'm going to stuff it with the scraps. So what you want to do is you want to take all the bits and pieces of scrap fabrics that you couldn't use for either the quilt or the bias tape, and then you want to just cut them into the smallest pieces possible to give them most fluffiness, such that the stuffed animal doesn't become too hard to touch. You can also, if you want a more soft stuffed animal like this, you can take half fabric scraps and then half filling material that has the right kind of buoyancy and bounce, and it will bounce back into shape, which is what you want for a stuffed animal. But if you want to be really eco-friendly, then you only want to fill it with your leftover scrap fabrics. So let me just show you how it's done. I've been working on making a Chanel type jacket, and to do that I used this actual Chanel fabric, boucle fabric in wool, which is really, really nice. And I found out that to make the fringes I needed to take out a lot of threads, and I saved these threads because they are kind of soft and I think they'll be perfect material to stuff my fox with. Yeah. So, as you can see here, I saved all these threads here. So, what you want to do is you want to take your cutter and then you want to cut through them, these pieces. Yeah, I'm just making sure that there are no big pieces left. But I think this looks pretty good. Feels pretty good. So I'm just trying to stuff my fox now. Let's see how it goes. I think it feels pretty good, but obviously Mr. Fox here, he needs some more filling. So I'll just get good working on that. So another great material for stuffing is this fleece that I have left over from making Mr. Fox. And it's very soft to the touch. So I think when I cut it into very small pieces, it will work perfectly as a filling. Alright guys, that's all I had today. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give it a like, and you're very welcome to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alright, have a good day!